The Instagram algorithm is constantly changing, but lucky for us, finally, it seems like they're slowly opening up about it. So let's talk about 5 new insights we've gathered from reading between the lines, of press articles, tweets, posts, and other things. Don't ask me what the other things actually are, but let's get into it. Number 1, and this is actually pretty interesting because it's totally new. Profile picture taps are important. When ranking the feed, they say they mostly look at how likely you are to, first of all, spend a few seconds on a post, which is actually another big thing that we're gonna talk about in a second. Then how likely you're gonna comment on it, like it, save it, and now the banger, tap on the profile picture. So reading between the lines, what does that mean and how can you actually use that? First of all, have a flashy profile picture. We made a video about it recently. Actually, who's we? It's actually me. I made a video about it recently. Still a one-man show, at least in the content department. Shout out to my lovely assistant, Yana, by the way, and the other people in my agency, but you're not half as lovely. Just having said that, but in terms of your profile picture, maybe it's even a good idea to switch it up, change it every few weeks to months, just to get people to actually actively recognize this whole thing. Also, it might be good to occasionally have some call to actions in your content to actually make people tap on your profile picture. And there's basically 2 possibilities. First of all, a call to action for the story. So ideally, you have some sort of content in your story as soon as you post that naturally picks up from the post to actually get people to watch your story. So, kind of like a natural thing. By the way, that's a good way to also get more story views in general, to boost your engagement in general, to actually have people go through your whole profile. Another thing between the lines that helps a lot with the algorithm. And secondly, if you don't have a story up there, obviously a tap on your profile picture will get you to your profile. Duh. For example, have some call to actions in your post or in your story, thinking around the block, if you will. For example, if you have a guide that you recently wrote, get people to click in your profile picture to actually check that out, or maybe switch up some things in your bio every now and then and tease it, or something like this, something that makes people curious, that makes them want to tap that profile picture. Maybe even make a riddle or something where you can hide some code or something in your bio, or some giveaway or something, so people actually click your profile picture. And these things are actually just things that I usually only talk about in my profile, the black file. So just so you know, use these things to your advantage and you're gonna see, wow, things are actually happening in your direction. The number 2 thing that we have learned from the algorithm that we kind of knew, but then again, we didn't. Video content is key. Now, don't get confused. It doesn't mean that other types of posts don't work as well as video content on a general level. You can never generally say that because every audience is different. Obviously, if you're a photographer, well, duh, photos should actually be your main thing. But, and this is what I think is key here, still experiment with different kinds of content here and then to have something fresh and to serve your audience from different angles so they actually get to connect with you. So they actually give the algorithm different sorts of signals, if you will. I did a video about content strategy recently, somewhere here, but let me give you an example right here. Would you rather follow and actually become interested in, or actually remember a creator that only posts 10 out of 10 cool pictures, but that's it? Or would you rather follow somebody who, in addition to those 10 out of 10 awesome pictures, has the one or the other tutorial posts and some reels that show, how they took those posts, edited those, pictures and other bits and pieces from, for example, the day-to-day life of, this creator. Obviously, duh, who are you gonna remember? I'll leave that up to you, but I would say the second one. So audience development is really key here. Be really intentional about what you are or what your goal is for your Instagram. Obviously I've said this a lot, but social media has already evolved to be more than this wham, bam, thank you, follower, creator, aka quick likes, cool, awesome, goodbye. There's gotta be some passion. You gotta incite some electricity, some tiny bit of excitement when people think about doing it with you. Consuming your content. That's what I mean, obviously. Got carried away, I guess. Number 3, make your reels perform at least 317%, if not more. But the actual number is obviously up to you because every audience is different, like I always say. And this is the thing, the algorithms actually change constantly, especially in the reels department. Right now, they say they actively look out for new audiences, no matter, probably you even have some sort of boost if you have a smaller audience. And they have their own algorithm, which means if you were kind of downranked in the algorithm of your feed posts, maybe try to get get this whole baseline level up by actually using Reels, whether you like it or not. But you should know that by now already. The actual new insight and takeaway that you get from here is that trends are really, really important in terms of getting your Reels out to a lot of people. Meaning content trends, obviously things that people do love to do, but also, and this is maybe even more important, music trends, which I personally hate, because then you just hear all those same old songs all over the place, and there's just like 5 or 7 songs that you hear all over Instagram, and I just hate it. For example, your chances of ranking are actually a lot lower, let's say, if you have this awesome song, from Jimi Hendrix, for example, that really fits everything together, but this tiny bit of boost that a lot of people can actually take advantage of is not there. So bad. Number, I don't even know anymore, a new explore insights that you might have missed. Velocity seems to be really important again, so posting time actually matters. It seems like it didn't matter for quite some time, but now it does. So, velocity meaning the amount of likes you get in the first, let's say, half hour to an hour, depending on how fast you actually get this engagement. So carefully analyze your audience and track various posting times to optimize your social signals and the whole velocity that you might get from that. But that's not all. They also recently started speaking about that they, gather information about the post and the author as well. So, if you confuse the algorithm, for example, by getting into engagement groups, yes, that's still a thing a lot of people use, who then get mad because their reach drops and stuff like this. Well, I don't know, I've been saying it for the past years actually, but there's always new people coming into this channel, greetings by the way, who still don't know this, so I just have to say it again. And also, and this is technically not really new, but they started talking about this more and more, that staying in a clearly defined niche with a clearly defined audience is the only way to actually get recommended on the Explore page, Which brings me to the last thing, where we can read a little bit between the lines. Actually, we can read a lot between the lines with this last point. Give people a good time, so good that they will have some tears in their eyes. No, but honestly, entertain them. And this is what Mozilla and they all always say when talking about the Instagram algorithm and getting recommended. They say, well, give people a good time. And naturally, a lot of people ask, how can I do that? How can I actually give people a good time? And to answer that, you actually got to take a look at this whole thing from Instagram's perspective. How could they possibly measure the engagement factor? And this is where the old time spent on the content, aka view time or something like this, comes into play. The longer people interact with your content, the better it is for you and for Instagram, right? It's a symbiosis, if you will. We've talked about this quite a lot, so we won't get into full detail right here. But generally speaking, for Reels, you want to make sure that your views are actually at least the same amount, if not more, than your whole reach. Meaning people watching your Reels more than once, ideally 5 times or 3 times. For stories, you want people to not only watch the whole stories through without tapping forward, you also might want to incorporate your audience, a little bit by doing, for example, some Q&As and polls and such, because reading between the lines, and this is why it's actually kind of new, they always talk about stories being a way to connect with your friends, right? And what do friends do? Yeah, actually they interact in a two-way manner. So yeah, apparently they take a look at these things, especially in the stories. And the same thing being true actually for regular posts or carousel posts. Make people generally spend as much time as possible on whatever it is that you bring out. A simple picture with just a one-liner caption won't do the trick. The like signal won't be valued as much, than, for example, if you make him read through something and then maybe make him comment. And now it kind of goes full circle again. Tap on your profile picture, especially if they just found you. And then you'll have those super strong social signals to be recommended even more. And this is what you want to strive for. So there's a little bit more of a sophisticated thought process that you have to incorporate in your whole content strategy now, if you ask me. So if you think about it, the 2021 Instagram algorithm is all about creating a full-blown experience for your audience, So really, and promise me that, really take your time to think about what is your experience that you can, offer for your audience. If you can honestly answer that and implement that, actually, you'll definitely see that the sky is the limit. Actually, think about it, not anymore. Low Earth orbit, as it seems for now. #nerd. I'll see you guys later. My name is Dominik.